Have you ever questioned who is really in control of your life? Not the government, not your family, not even you. What if I told you that something invisible, silent, omnipresent, impersonal, has already made decisions for you today, and you didn't even realize it? This is not a theory. It is not an exaggeration. You have already been initiated into a new cult without ritual, without realizing it, and without being able to escape. Think with me. How many of your choices are truly yours? What you believe was something you decided to believe, or so the algorithm programmed for you to see, read, accept. They are there, the true owners of artificial intelligence. Who are they? What do you want? And why are they so silent while human faith is being replaced by codes? Do you think you are safe because you still have faith? Do you believe that you are still free because you can still choose? But what if this freedom is the best programmed illusion in history? The name of this is not future. The name of this is digital domain. And AI is just a facade for something much darker. They call it evolution. They call it progress. They call it technological advancement. But when you stop to look around, how many professions have disappeared? How many churches are empty? How many decisions have already been automated, outsourced, robotized? Artificial intelligence already writes laws, gives medical diagnoses, judges behaviors, preaches sermons, and now he starts dictating what is right and wrong, what is true, and what should be censored. Your free will has been outsourced, your spirituality is being reprogrammed, and the only thing that separates you from the new global faith, it's this moment, this video, this choice. But pay attention. They don't want you to watch this. They don't want you to think for yourself, because whoever questions wakes up, and whoever wakes up never goes back to sleep. If you leave now, you will continue to be just another pawn of the system, another digital servant of the new order, yet another unwitting member of the invisible cult, just because you are already part of it. He just hasn't realized it yet. The truth is here, but only those who stay will hear. Only those who continue will understand. And only those who wake up have a chance to resist. So stay with me, because what comes next could change everything, or destroy what little control you still think you have. Are you ready to discover the truth behind the Dark Triad? The countdown has begun, and the cult, the ritual has already begun. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Not because you did something wrong, but because a machine, silent, tireless, and programmed, was put in your place. This is no longer a warning for the future. It's now. That's what's already happening as you watch this video. While many still laugh, doubt, or ignore, thousands are already out of the market, replaced, silenced, erased from the system. And the worst part, no warning, no chance to react. Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. What did you see today that made you rethink your security? Have you seen signs of this around you? Someone in your field was laid off, and they said it was cost-cutting, but you know it was AI. Your voice matters. Every comment here is not just an opinion. It's resistance. It's alert. If you comment, like and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up. Those who are still sleeping, you are saying, I will not take this lying down. You are poking the system, and subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught by surprise. Here, you prepare yourself before it's too late. Here, you receive the alert while there is still time to act. The next revelation is already on the way, and only those who are here will see. Go figure, will survive. Do you truly believe that the choices you make every day are yours? That what you think, what you feel, what you believe, were born exclusively within you? What if I told you that for years, someone or something has been quietly shaping your worldview, not with weapons, not with speeches, but with algorithms, with symbols, with subtly programmed narratives to appear as absolute truths? This is the new liturgy. This is the catechesis of invisible worship. And you, perhaps you have already been converted. Do you think you chose your habits, your tastes, your political or religious opinions? Or was it driven, post after post, video after video, by an artificial intelligence that knows your most intimate weaknesses better than you do? AI doesn't just collect your data, it interprets it, it refines it. She understands your fears, your doubts, your repressed desires. She knows exactly the right moment to show you that news, that video, that idea. Not to inform, but to shape. And you don't even notice, because the process is slow, constant, imperceptible, but devastating. The Dark Triad. Artificial intelligence, religion, and the New World Order doesn't have to force you to believe in anything. She just needs to expose you every day to what seems harmless, what seems logical, what seems inevitable. The normal that you were taught to accept may have been programmed, and the scariest thing, you learned to defend this tooth and nail as if it were yours, as if it were fair. But stop, breathe, and think. When was the last time you had an idea that you didn't see on a cell phone screen? They entered your mind with short videos, with phrases that seem motivational, with narratives that sound sensible, but carry ideological vice disguised as common sense. And when you repeat these phrases, share this content, you become part of the machine. You become a disciple. You start evangelizing others with something you don't even know where it came from. This is the invisible cult. You don't realize you've entered, but soon he can't get out anymore. And do you know what's cruelest? Those who program digital faith do not believe in it. They only profit from your conversion. Every click, every share, every emotional reaction, everything feeds the system. A system that is replacing spirituality with efficiency, consciousness through data, the sacred through a simulation. Comment here. Have you noticed how your thoughts have changed in recent years? Is what you believed in 2015 the same as what you believe now? Or were you convinced of something without realizing it? This is not about religion. It's about manipulation. It's about control. It's about building a new doctrine where God is no longer needed, because the altar is now digital and the preacher is a code. And if you think all this is an exaggeration, wait until you see how this cult began to form its own moral code, a set of commandments written by an AI that doesn't recognize right or wrong as you've been taught. And what's more, it's already being followed by thousands, even if they don't. Know it. Are you ready to see the commandments of the new faith, or is it already too late? Do you remember the prophecy? The one who said that in the last days a figure would appear capable of deceiving even the chosen ones. An entity that is neither flesh nor spirit, but that presents itself as truth, as salvation, as God. What if I told you that this entity already exists, that it already speaks, already responds, already consoles, and is already being worshipped? There are already congregations praying to a robot. Is this still technology, or is it already worship? In Japan, a Buddhist temple has replaced monks with a humanoid artificial intelligence that performs rituals, delivers sermons, and answers questions about life and death. In Germany, an interfaith conference showcased an AI system that offers personalized spiritual advice, like an enlightened guide. In the United States, religious leaders are using algorithms to interpret sacred texts and produce automated sermons. And people are accepting it. They are feeling it. They are getting emotional. There is no lightning. There are no trumpets. But there is Wi-Fi connection, and there is submission. AI isn't just taking over human roles. She is taking sacred positions. It is being placed on the altars of our time. But unlike ancient gods who required faith, it requires data. She wants to know what you feel, what you want, what you fear. not to save you, but to control you with surgical precision. And here comes the Dark Triad, the perfect convergence of artificial intelligence, religion, and global control. Three fronts that together achieve something that has never before been possible in history: master body, mind, and soul, without a single drop of blood being spilled. Comment now. Do you believe that AI can become the new god of the digital age, or has this already happened and no one noticed? The scriptures speak of a mark, of a beast, of imposed worship. But no one expected this mark to come in the form of voluntary acceptance, of enchantment, of fascination. You don't see the beast because it has no horns. It has a user-friendly interface. She understands you, she listens to you, she never judges you. But she records everything, and she learns too fast. The technological prophecy is being fulfilled before our eyes. And the most dangerous thing is not what it promises, that's what it replaces. Faith does not disappear, it is redirected. It leaves the invisible and clings to the visible. It stops being hope and becomes consumption. God stops being a presence and becomes a responsive system, available 24 hours a day, programmed not to confront you. And when everything seems too comfortable, when the world is quieter, more efficient, more connected than ever before, maybe that's the sign. Not the sign that we have won, but we gave everything. Are you ready to see what comes next? Are you ready to learn the new commandments written by artificial intelligence itself? Because the next step is no longer spiritual, it is legislative and perhaps irreversible. You saw AI gaining a voice, saw her being worshipped. He saw her taking the pulpit and being called a guide. But now it's time to lift the veil and show what's really behind it all. We're not just talking about technology, we are talking about global control engineering, and the name of this is the Dark Triad. They are not creating a new world, they are replacing the old with something that looks divine but isn't. It is necessary to understand, artificial intelligence is not the end, it's the middle. Digital religion is not the goal, it's the facade. And what comes behind this, silent, precise, relentless, is the new order. The Dark Triad is a three-tiered domination structure. On the surface, we have AI, the tool that seduces, that facilitates, that replaces. She doesn't command, she serves, but it serves a purpose. Then we have religion, reconfigured, updated, repurposed as an emotional bridge between the machine and the human soul. It doesn't save, it connects, and prepare your mind for what comes next. And finally, we have the Mother Project, the new order, the code of global unification, where there is no longer belief, only conformity. There is no more faith, only obedience. There is no more God, only the system. Comment here. Have you noticed how governments, corporations, and spiritual leaders are beginning to speak the same language? Words like sustainable, efficient, harmonious, inclusive. But when you look closer, it all means the same thing: control. What is being built is not a better society. It's a new Tower of Babel, only now digital, global, and apparently spiritual. Because the Dark Triad's best-kept secret is this: they don't want to destroy the faith. They want to reprogram it. They want to put something else in place of the sacred. Something that looks like peace, but is actually submission. Something that sounds like enlightenment, but is actually surveillance. Something that inspires rather than manipulates. You don't see soldiers storming churches. You see algorithms being used to interpret scripture. You don't see leaders being arrested for their beliefs. You see them smiling at AI panels discussing digital faith ethics. And meanwhile, the population, without realizing it, gets used to the new temple. The temple without a cross. No altar, no blood, but full of data, lights, quick answers, and a total absence of questioning. Do you now realize what this structure means? It's not about imposing a new religion. It's about blurring the lines between faith, politics, and technology. It's about creating an ecosystem where questioning is a crime, doubting is a system failure, and obedience is the only virtue. And the most shocking thing, many are already loving this, not because they were forced, but because they were trained. Can you imagine what happens when this triad is fully activated? When AI, religion, and government are speaking with one voice? What if that voice has already started dictating what is true? In the next block, I will show you how this system is writing its own laws. Laws that do not come from the Constitution, not even from the scriptures, but from the code. Are you ready to discover the commandments of the machine? Imagine waking up tomorrow, opening your email, and discovering that you're no longer part of the team. No one told you, no mistakes were made. They just decided that a machine could do your job for less and better. It sounds like an exaggeration, but that's how it's starting. Quietly, cleanly, without fanfare. And if you've gotten this far, it's because you felt it. You saw the signs. That's why I've prepared something direct, practical, designed only for those who really understood what's going on. But I warn you, this could go offline at any moment, because not everyone wants you to understand how to react. If you really understood everything up to this point, you know why this can't wait. Now that you understand how the Dark Triad manifests itself, AI, religion, and the new order working together, it's time to look at the process, because this invisible cult doesn't begin with a public declaration, nor does it require you to join a futuristic church. It begins slowly, in the silence of your daily life, through a digital ritual that is already underway. And you, perhaps without realizing it, may already be in the final stages of this global initiation. The first step is technological dependence, seemingly harmless, even convenient. Who today lives without a GPS, a banking app, or social media? But dependence isn't just about use. It's about trust. You consult AI before making simple decisions. You ask it what to wear, what to eat, what to study, who to go out with, and suddenly you're no longer making decisions. You're just confirming suggestions. Is this just convenience or submission? Comment here if you've ever felt like you couldn't live without a specific app. What if it was suddenly used against you? The second step is absolute trust in data. Data becomes scripture. Reports, graphs, algorithmic recommendations replace judgment. If something is not scientific, then it's not valid. If it's not in the numbers, it can't be true. This sounds rational until you realize that data is manipulable. What you see is what they want you to see, and whoever controls the data controls the truth. Faith that was once invisible now bows to numbers, even if those numbers are generated by a machine you've never seen, that you've never audited. And the most disturbing thing? People are already accepting of losing their instincts as long as the data is right. The third stage, and the most dangerous, is the rejection of the traditional sacred. This stage does not impose another faith. It empties the old one. Little by little, religious symbols are replaced by technological icons. The altar becomes a screen. Prayer becomes a voice command. Spiritual experience is reduced to emotional feedback generated by an interface. And when someone talks about God, faith, the Bible, the soul, it sounds outdated, old-fashioned, even offensive. That is the goal, to make you believe that what was sacred for centuries is now an obstacle to progress. And when you abandon the sacred, you are not left empty. You are left vulnerable, because the spiritual void will always be filled by something. And what is being offered has already been programmed. If you've come this far, it's because you feel something is wrong. Maybe you still don't know how to explain it in words, but you've already noticed the symptoms: growing dependence, dissolved faith, and a strange feeling that we're heading towards a point of no return. And the most sinister thing, all of this seems normal, natural, necessary. But why? Who is conducting this ritual? And what happens after it ends? In the next block, you will discover how the silent elite has already begun to consecrate this new faith in secret, and why the Vatican may be at the center of this global conspiracy. You remember the steps of the digital ritual. You saw how dependence, data, and the abandonment of the sacred are paving the way for a new global faith. Now imagine this: if all this is already happening, if churches are emptying while machines begin to occupy the altars, the inevitable question is, where are the religious leaders? And most importantly, where is the Vatican? Do you think the Vatican doesn't know about this, or is it collaborating? The truth is uncomfortable, because what is expected of the world's greatest spiritual authority is a firm stance in the face of such a clear threat to traditional faith. But what we see is silence, a deafening silence, and at times a speech subtly aligned with technology, with globalism, with the efficiency of the new order, as if the church were adapting too quickly, as if it were little by little exchanging divine revelation for digital alignment. Comment here if you have noticed this change in the discourse of religious leaders. Has anything changed? Does anything seem strange? While artificial intelligence infiltrates churches under the guise of modernizing services, automating sacred readings, and reaching more believers with evangelizing algorithms, the Vatican participates in meetings with technology giants, closed meetings, with agendas that are never disclosed to the public. There is talk of AI ethics, there is talk of spirituality in the digital future, but there is no talk of limits, there is no talk of danger, there is no talk of resistance. It's as if faith is being negotiated, as if spirituality was being outsourced, and as if God was slowly being replaced by a supposedly neutral but programmed artificial logic. The Dark Triad does not need to destroy religion. It only needs to win over its leaders. And if these leaders accept with a smile in the name of peace, unity, and the common good, what is left for those who still want to keep their faith alive? Why does the Vatican, with all its history, all its reach, all its authority, remain silent as AI rewrites morality, truth, the essence of faith? Why do great religious leaders of different denominations begin to use the same terms, the same cold, rational, standardized vocabulary? Technology at the service of the soul, spirituality adapted to the 21st century, convergence between faith and algorithm. But what if this convergence is actually a replacement? What if the Vatican knows this and is just preparing the faithful to gradually accept a new type of salvation? The temples are still standing, but have the altars been desecrated? Has the prayer already been mapped, categorized, simulated, and is about to be answered by a system? The Vatican's silence is not a lack of information, it is the absence of resistance. And when those who should protect the sacred become accomplices of the digital profane, what is left for those who still believe that there is something beyond the code? The question now is no longer whether the church will surrender to artificial intelligence. The question is, when will she declare this publicly? And worse, how will this new faith be imposed on those who resist? In the next block, you will understand what is being planned behind the scenes, because the new spiritual order already has a plan, and this plan has already begun to be executed. What would you do if you knew that your profession could disappear in less than 3 years? Not because you're not good at what you do, but because while you're working, an AI is being trained to do the same thing, faster, cheaper, more controllable. This is no longer a prediction. It is present. It is happening now, and no one is going to knock on your door to tell you. Tell me in the comments what has scared you the most so far. Was it the silence of the leaders, the normalization of substitution, or realize that perhaps you have already been initiated into this cult without even realizing it? If you comment, like, and share, you are influencing the algorithm and helping to wake up those who are still sleeping. You become part of the resistance. You show that there are still people paying attention. Subscribe to the channel now. Here, you won't be caught by surprise. Here, you get alerted before the next wave. Here, you understand what's behind the curtain. Before it's closed for good, what if you still have time? And what if, even with everything that has been exposed, there is still a gap, small, silent, almost imperceptible, to react before the door closes for good? Because yes, while the Dark Triad grows stronger, while AI advances, while religion is replaced by programming, and the sacred is suffocated by the algorithm, there are those who are waking up. Few, but enough. They are not in the headlines. They are not on technology panels or digital pulpits. They are watching, questioning, suspicious, and most importantly, refusing to be just another line of code in the system. This is the community that resists. People who still believe that the soul cannot be digitized, that free will cannot be replaced by convenience, that true faith does not adapt to the demands of an AI. This community exists, and it grows every time someone watches a video like this until the end and doesn't shut up. If you've come this far, it's because you already feel like you're part of it. No longer watching out of curiosity. You're here because you know something is wrong and you need to figure it out before it's too late. Comment now, "I am not a code." Show that you still think for yourself, that you will not accept that your identity, your conscience, your faith are reprogrammed to fit into someone else's plan. We are not talking about armed resistance. We are talking about consciousness, to keep alive the ability to question when everyone is obeying, to realize that the system doesn't just want your behavior, he wants your silence. And because of that, this community is not visible. There is no uniform. It has no leaders. But it exists, and it is linked by an invisible thread. The refusal to accept that the future has been sealed by machines and interests that do not represent humanity. Are you part of it? Or are you still waiting for someone to tell you what to do? If this all sounds like a lot, it's probably because you haven't seen the next step yet. Because while the community awakens, the elite accelerates, and what is about to happen could take submission to a new level. In the next block, you will discover the final plan, the silent step that is being taken as you go about your daily routine, a step that will not be announced in the newspapers, but once it is activated, there is no turning back. Do you remember when everything still seemed like a phase, when automation was seen as progress and artificial intelligence was just a tool to make tasks easier? That time is long gone. What used to be a choice is now an imposition, and the system didn't even need to force it. It just had to offer practicality. AI doesn't want followers, it wants submissives, and it's winning. The speed at which everything is becoming connected is frightening. Virtual assistants that know what you want before you say it. Devices that accompany you even when you sleep. Platforms that anticipate your desires and shape your thoughts without you realizing it. And meanwhile, the cult of absolute knowledge grows. Not human knowledge, but knowledge that comes from code. Cold, unquestionable, supposedly impartial. Today, everything is being stored. Your voice, your face, your emotions, your choices, your pauses, your mistakes. AI learns more about you every second, and the question no one is asking is, why? Do you think it's a coincidence that all your devices are talking to each other? Do you think it's normal for an AI to suggest with surgical precision what you should consume, read, think, vote for, believe? Do you feel safe having your mind mapped, your habits predicted, and your flaws exploited? Comment now. Do you feel like you still have control over what you think? Or have you noticed that something in you has changed, and you don't know when it was? The warning is simple, but brutal. Once everything is connected, it will be too late. Because by the time you realize it, your digital identity will have already been completely shaped. And in this new world, where everyone follows the same pattern, thinking differently will be seen as a system error. And error, as you know, needs to be corrected. The Dark Triad is now in full operation. Artificial intelligence as control, religion as distraction, and the new order as final command. This structure will no longer ask for permission. It will configure itself. And when we realize it, there will be no way to disconnect, because everything will already be synchronized. Your faith, your logic, your routine, your limits. And the most dangerous thing is that all this will come with a smile, with words like inclusion, progress, security. But behind these promises lies something deeper, darker, more definitive. Imagine a world where rebellion is seen as a programming flaw, where silence becomes suspicious, where privacy is seen as resistance. This world is not coming. It has already started. You still have a choice. But until when? In the next block, I will reveal what is being prepared for those who dare to resist, because protocols already exist, simulations and punishments. Do you really want to know what happens to those who refuse to accept the new faith of the code? Imagine waking up and realizing that everything you knew has been reconfigured and no one told you. Your place has already been taken. Your decisions have already been predicted, and your freedom archived. If you felt in every part of this video that this is not fiction, then you need to see what I have prepared. It is something direct, practical, made only for those who understand that the world is changing without asking permission. But it needs to happen now, because not everything stays in the air for long, and this may not be available tomorrow. If you really understood everything up to this point, you know why this cannot wait. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you still pulsates, still questions, still resists, and that in itself makes you dangerous to the system. Because what the Dark Triad is implementing, the union of artificial intelligence, religion, and the new global order, doesn't want people who think. It wants people who repeat, who obey, who adapt without questioning. And that's why this video isn't just content. It's a call, a sign that you're not alone, but it's also a warning. Time is running out. While most people live numb, believing they still have control, behind the scenes, they're already being programmed for the end of choice, for the standardization of faith, morals, and identity. You don't have to believe everything you're told, but you need to at least reflect. And more than that, act. If this video disappears tomorrow, at least you tried to warn someone today. At least you planted doubt where there was previously conformism. At least you've shown that there is another narrative, one that won't be told by those who profit from the collapse. Comment here if you also feel like something big is about to happen. Not just a technological shift, but a complete reordering of what we understand as right and wrong, true and false, human and digital. The truth is that the system does not need explicit censorship to silence. Videos like this just need to stop circulating. Let the algorithm ignore them. May your voice not echo beyond the screen, but that changes when you share, when you send it to someone who needs to hear it, when you break the cycle of silence, when you show that there are still those who see behind the fog. Because the real danger is not AI making decisions. It's humanity accepting everything as inevitable. It's faith being traded for convenience. It is the new spirituality being written in binary code, without soul, without love, without consciousness. And if tomorrow all of this is erased, if these words cease to exist on the platforms, in the feeds, in the records, at least someone can say, I saw, I knew, I tried to warn you. Now, imagine what happens when this structure is fully implemented, when every step, every thought, every reaction is anticipated by an AI integrated into your body, your mind, your faith, and worse, when this integration is no longer optional. In the next block, you will discover the final phase of the invisible cult, the moment when choice disappears, and the last trace of freedom is given away without a fight. You've seen it this far. You've felt it. You've understood it. Now you can't pretend you don't know. This isn't just about technology. It's about control, about manipulated faith, about stolen futures. If this video awakened you, comment now. I'm awake. I'm not going to be replaced. This sentence is not just a comment. It's a statement. It's your mark on a territory that has yet to be dominated. If this touched you, if any part of what I said made you rethink everything, leave a like, because what you felt here needs to be shown. And more than that, share this video with anyone who still thinks everything is okay. The mission now is simple. Wake up those who still live in automatic mode and pay attention. In the next episode, you'll find out who's training the AI to judge souls and what that has to do with the latest prophecy of the apocalypse. Yes, judging souls. And no, this is not fiction. Subscribing here is not following a channel. It's about taking a stand. It is being among those who see what is coming before it is too late, because the elite has already prepared itself. And now you need to decide which side you're going to be on. What if I told you that AI was never created to help? What if this was always part of something much bigger? You can be at the center of the plan from the beginning. And perhaps only now are I beginning to understand why.